Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my cash out plan for this crypto bull market. Let's get into it. So first guys, just so you know, 8 p.m. EST, I'm going live. We're going to be talking about some altcoins, some gems. We're going to be talking about AVAX, Avalanche, and a few others. So please tune in to that tonight at 8 p.m. EST. Bring some of your altcoins, we'll take a look, and we'll kind of go through some projects. So first I want to tackle the bull market specifically. So we need to understand that bull markets aren't going to last forever. And people who bought in now are going to make money for sure. But the real people that are going to be made rich are the ones that were buying during the bear market. And of course, I've been buying since the start of 2020. So while I don't have a lot of crypto, I'm still in a good amount of profit. But you can still understand that I still have room that I want to make more. So how am I going to do that? It's important when you guys are getting in, especially if you're new to the crypto space, is that you make a strategy. You don't just buy in, especially at a top, and then get upset that you lost all your money because it just crashed right away. And I hear that all the time. People say, oh, I bought Bitcoin at 18,000, 17,000, and then it crashed. And that's what you need to be prepared for. Everything's not going to always go up and up and up. It's a lot like gold's market cycle where it will go shoot up and then crash down. So first we want to talk about our indicators and what indicates a time to sell. Now I know we are looking for another Bitcoin correction, but I'm still not selling my Bitcoin, and I probably won't, to be honest. Now, I totally understand if you are somebody that wants to sell your Bitcoin, and that's fine, and you should. But I have reasons why I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin, and I'll explain that in this video. But the majority of my profits are going to be taken from altcoins. And Bitcoin is going to be the signal to when to take profits. Now, we are going to see a bit of a retracement. I do expect that. But after that, I expect Bitcoin to fly and go to incredible heights, possibly above the 150K range. And this is based on the market cap of gold and institutional money coming into Bitcoin and adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet as if it was gold. So if you look at just a fraction of the gold market cap, $11 trillion, it can really do a lot in terms of increasing Bitcoin's price. So you start to realize that 150K BTC is really not out of the realm of possibility this bull run. So if alts are generating the capital, how do I plan to cash out? So I get this question a lot. How do I cash out? Do I just put the money in my bank, or what's the strategy here? And I understand that sentiment. I understand wanting to just put money in your bank and why you would want to do that. And of course, you need to pay bills and everything else, and you should pay those things when you need to with your funds. Now, I understand the need for people to have liquid cash in their bank account, and you can absolutely do that, and there are avenues for that. But that's not where I'm going to be cashing out the bulk of my crypto, because there are other vehicles that'll last out throughout the whole thing that are much better than just putting it into fiat and then putting it in your bank. And we know governments aren't really doing a good job with monetary policy right now, so would we really trust fiat in the savings account? Now, for sure, you can sell your crypto for fiat and deposit directly into your bank account. But these are my strategies. One thing that everyone should make sure of is that all of your tax-free savings vehicles are capped out completely with stocks and good growth vehicles within that tax-free savings vehicle. That way we can make sure to capitalize our tax-free gains later on, and we're thinking about in the future. So that's one of the first things. If you don't already have that maxed, that should be maxed. The next I will be cashing out in is most likely USDC. So I will be cashing out directly into USDC from Kraken and then sending that to BlockFi or Celsius to gain a 16 to 14% APY on that USDC. So I'd be gaining interest on the USDC coin, and it's stable to the United States dollar. Now keep in mind, I will only ever move into USDC if it's maybe for a short term. And by short term, I mean maybe a few months, but likely I wouldn't be holding in USDC for long. Another big vehicle, and this is probably going to be about 5% of what I cash out, is Pax Gold, which is tokenized gold. Now, gold held up really well in the last bull market and in the last crash, so I expect that it's going to do the same. But either way, we can always be safe that we know that gold is going to go up eventually. We know that there's scarcity there, so realistically cashing out into gold, at least a small portion, is going to be a good. So that's where I'm going to be cashing out a portion of my altcoins, would be into gold directly. And also you can gain interest with tokenized gold with BlockFi and with Celsius. Just a quick note, if you want either of those services, just go ahead and there'll be referral links for both of them. Me and you both get a little bit of crypto when you deposit. The last vehicle that I will be cashing my altcoins out into is Bitcoin. Yes, I will be cashing out into Bitcoin, most likely not right away. I'll most likely let Bitcoin sink a little bit before I start bringing in. But once those alts start hitting all-time highs, yes, you better be sure that I'm going to be cashing out and getting those hard, cold Satoshis, right? Getting into Bitcoin is going to be one of the greatest things that you could do over the next 10 to 15 years. So I absolutely wouldn't shy away from it. That is exactly where I'm going to be putting a good portion. At least 30% of my profits will end up back into Bitcoin. And then that Bitcoin will subsequently be divvied out into the next bull cycle. So when we enter the next bull cycle, I'll have plenty of Bitcoin to buy the projects that I want to buy and invest how I want to invest. Obviously, we're all going to be able to make a good amount of money. There's no question about that. But if you don't have a plan going into this, you could be in a situation where you see your portfolio go up and up and up and then go right down and you don't take anything. And probably the worst regret that you could have, other than not buying something before it pumped, is not selling something before it dumped. So it is important that you're taking at least some off the table. I wouldn't blame anyone if you have went in so far and you've doubled your money or you've made a little bit and you want to take out what you've already put in and play on house money. By all means, you should absolutely do that if that's what you need to feel safe. But if you're here, you're going to take a little bit of a risk. You need to make sure that you have a good plan to go out and make sure that you're pulling out enough crypto that you are retaining your wealth after this bull market. And afterwards, it's very important to diversify, getting into stocks, getting into good, healthy tech stocks, getting into owning real estate and property and working out that way. And at this point, we can't see Bitcoin really going away. Bitcoin is going to be here regardless, whether we like it or not. And most likely a lot of alts are going to be here too. And just to put this on a side note, I'm also going to be keeping a good number of alts. I won't be selling a lot of my alts. I won't be selling small portions of certain alts that I think are going to do well in the long term. I may reposition into those alts later on with Bitcoin and take my profits out before the bear market. But with my strategy of going out just a little bit, catching the top, and then catching a little bit at the bottom, I should have enough to reposition into the altcoins while also enjoying the benefits of getting that extra 1000% gain while just losing a little bit, right? The best way to come into the market is dollar cost average. The best way out is also dollar cost average. And if you're using these strategies by going into gold, going into real estate, tax-free vehicles, USDC to gain interest, then you won't really need your bank. And then you start to recognize that maybe you can truly unbank yourself. A big thing that I do want to mention is a good portion of what I plan on doing after this. If I want to buy any big asset, most likely I will just borrow directly off of my Bitcoin, get a super low interest rate with my Bitcoin, and buy a home or buy a rental property or something else at a super low interest. And I don't even have to worry about the 4% of a mortgage, 2%, whatever it is. I know interest rates are low. The good thing is, if you wanted to buy something with your Bitcoin, you could always use your Bitcoin as collateral, get a super cheap, low interest collateralized loan, and buy whatever you needed to. So you never actually have to sell your Bitcoin. So just remember that it might actually be more beneficial for you to borrow against your Bitcoin and use it more as a hedge and a leverage rather than just outright selling it. So that's personally why I plan on cashing out my altcoins into Bitcoin so I can leverage that Bitcoin later on and then reposition that Bitcoin into the next bear market. I hope this answers some questions. In terms of the specifics of getting cash, cold hard cash into your bank account, there are a couple of ways. If you're in Canada, you can use Newton. I've made a video on it before. And you can e-transfer yourself money that you sell within Newton. So if you sell the crypto in Newton, you can e-transfer it directly to your bank. You can set up an EFT, which is an electronic funds transfer, and you can also do that with Kraken or any other big exchange. And as well with US and everyone else, most likely you have some sort of wire transfer function in a major exchange like Kraken, like Binance. So I'd recommend you get set up on one of those major exchanges, especially if you're making a plan to cash out during this bull run. I'm personally going to be using Kraken and Binance for the bulk of my cashing out. And from there, I will organize what goes into USDC, what goes into gold, what goes into Bitcoin, and then what goes into my bank to pay bills. But that's my plan. You should do your own research before doing anything. But I do hope that this helped answer some questions about my plan, and it might not be right for everyone. So please, if you don't want to be ballsy enough to cash out into Bitcoin, you don't have to. But that's it for me, guys. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, and I'll see you guys in the live stream later on today. Go check that out. Bye.